Today's video is going to be all about long-lasting beast mode fragrances. These are attention grabbing, so if you want to find out more, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are joining. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hayley and I review fragrance. So as I mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about beast mode fragrances. Think long-lasting fragrances, think attention-grabbing fragrances. These are going to last you all day long. So if that's your kind of thing, then keep on watching. But before I jump into the first fragrance, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. If you don't already, that is. It would really help my channel out, and I would love to have you join this incredible community. So without further ado, let's jump into the first fragrance. And I wanted to start with an absolute masterpiece. This fragrance is an absolute 10 out of 10. Now this is a beast mode of a fragrance. It is long lasting. It's absolutely attention grabbing. This is one of the most incredible fragrances that I have ever smelt in my life. It does come with a big price tag, so keep an eye out on those discounter websites. Try and find an offer on this. You will often be able to find this nearly up to 50% off, so I definitely would recommend keeping an eye out for those deals. But this is just the most perfect rose oud with saffron, with honey. It's complex, it's floral. Those roses are almost dipped in honey and then it's been crystallized. That is the feeling I get. This is the ultimate luxurious fragrance in my opinion, one of the most show-stopping in my entire collection. There are some other florals in here like violet and osmanthus. You've also got some vanilla in the base, but aside from the notes, this is just blended to absolute perfection. You've probably heard people talk about Nefs quite a lot. I know I'm starting off with an extremely expensive fragrance, but in terms of being a beast mode, in terms of being long lasting, you do get what you pay for in many ways. But I would highly recommend trying a sample of this one if you have not already. Please do let me know if you've tried Nefs, and if so, what your thoughts are on this. But I had to include it in this list because it is entirely fitting, and I would love to hear your feedback on this one if you have sampled it. The next fragrance is a really new one to my collection, but it absolutely deserves to be in this list, and it is from Ojar, and this one is called Encens Cuivre. I believe that's how it's pronounced, and it is intoxicating. This one is an absolute beast mode. I've only worn this one once on the skin and I could smell it the next morning. That is how much of a beast mode fragrance this one is. And I wanted to include it in this list because it is a new release and the brand isn't as widely known. So I thought it would be a good chance to highlight this one. I've spoken about How Our Kiss from this brand before. One of the most delicious, gourmand, rich, dates and honey kind of fragrance. But the spotlight is on this one today, which is, it's a vanilla fragrance, but not vanilla as you know it. This is rich, it's resinous, there's myrrh in here, there's patchouli, and it's a very different take on what I expected vanilla to be. I'm getting a lot of LME in the opening and that rosewood note, and then I get patchouli right from the beginning. It's quite an earthy patchouli, very in your face. You then get the myrrh and it's slightly smoky. This is very, very resinous. There's some musk in here. And then the vanilla starts to blossom on the skin. If you like your fragrances rich and decadent, if you like them powerful, if you like that Middle Eastern touch, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. If I can find anywhere where they sell samples of this one, I will link it down below. But this is a phenomenal fragrance. As I said, I could still smell it the next day. This sticks to my skin like glue. I'm not going to do an in-depth review of this one now because it is still quite new to my collection, but it is a beast mode fragrance. It will definitely get attention and it will last all day without a doubt. Let's move on to a fragrance that I've spoken about quite a lot, and it is from Maison Crivelli, and this one is called Hibiscus Mahajad. I have a 10 ml atomizer of this one, which I always carry around with me in my handbag. I find it to be the perfect fragrance to top up as I go out for the day. Even if it's not my scent of the day, I will always top up with Hibiscus Mahajad. I don't know what it is, but I love this scent profile so much. And I only ever need to do 1 or 2 sprays because this is such a beast mode of a fragrance, and it is alluring, it is head turning, it gets so many compliments. It lasts all day without a doubt. If you overspray this one, it is going to be an absolute beast of a fragrance, but 1 to 2 sprays of this is enough for me. And even that 10 ml atomizer that I carry around with me in my handbag, I haven't used it yet. So in terms of how much this costs, yes, it is an expensive niche fragrance, but you're not going to go through the bottle really quickly just because of the strength of the juice. This is, in my opinion, such a sexy fragrance. A lot of people have likened it to Delina Exclusive, and I can definitely see where they are going with that. But to me, they are only about 30% similar. They are done by the same perfumer, so it makes sense. You definitely get the rose, you definitely get that kind of musky vanilla that you get in Delina Exclusive. But then this one has the hibiscus, it has a slight touch of mint, it's a little bit fiery. It's very juicy, almost like having hibiscus tea mixed in with a sweet rose and vanilla fragrance. This is a showstopper in my opinion. And as you already know, because it's in this list, it is a beast mode of a fragrance that's absolutely going to last you all day. Think 12 hours plus. I'm not sure if I've spoken about this next fragrance yet or not, although I bought it quite a while ago, but it is from Ex Nihilo and it is Atlas Fever. This is one of my favorite Ex Nihilo fragrances ever. I don't think I see many people talk about this one. It's definitely not one of their most popular, but this is the most incredible spicy vanilla, tonka bean and red berries. You've got incense, it's woody in the base, it's got some gaiac wood, oak, there's a little bit of narcissus, but to me I mostly get spicy vanilla, red berries and tonka bean. This is so incredible. I don't know why this one is not more popular than it is. And if you have tried Atlas Fever, I would love to hear your feedback down below. But I find this one completely intoxicating. It is a beast mode too, lasts all day on my skin without a doubt. Definitely turns heads when I have worn this one. It's a little bit different, but at the same time, it has this likable DNA. The incense isn't too heavy, it isn't too smoky. I get almost like a nutmeg mixed in with the red berries and the vanilla. The warmth from the woods really just do something on my skin, and I think this is an incredible fragrance from Ex Nihilo, and I highly recommend you sampling this one if you have not already. The next fragrance is Silky Wood Extrait by Goldfield and Banks. I'm having to angle the bottle back slightly because it's so reflective, but it's in this beautiful bronze metallic finish. It does have my name engraved on it. I was invited to an event in December. I was too unwell to attend the event, and they still sent me through a bottle, which was so kind of them. So I'm really excited to review this fragrance for you today. So I want to talk about flankers, or let's say extraits of the original EDP formulation or whatever formulation. Now, sometimes I find them quite redundant. They smell too similar to warrant owning both. Whereas Silky Wood's Extrait, they've actually gone in quite a different direction with this one. So I don't think it's a safe blind buy if you love Silky Woods. You definitely will want to sample this one first because they are quite different. And I have seen mixed reviews on this one so far. And I am in the camp of loving the Extrait. It is incredible. I might even prefer it over the original, which is saying something because I absolutely adore Silky Woods. This smells incredible on my skin and also on my husband, and he really loves this one too. So the key differences are this has quite an amped up rose note in there, which is very, very prominent. It also has quite a strong oak moss or mossy vibe to it. It's definitely more green. You smell that greenness in the opening straight away. And then that oak moss is quite prominent on my skin. So I'm going to say it's a more earthy version of the original Silky Woods with an amped up rose note. There's also some fig in here, adding to that greenness. So it's not such a gourmand vanilla anymore, and this has gone into a slightly different avenue, but that is something that I really love about the fragrance. It stops this from being redundant, and it turns this into being a standalone fragrance. The oud is still very smooth. You definitely still get the vanilla. It's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Yeah, I still definitely get Silky Woods just from smelling it from the cap, but I get that rose. I don't get the oak moss as much just smelling it straight from the cap or from the atomizer. But the oak moss definitely comes through on the skin. So I would highly recommend sampling this one first. But this is a beast mode of a fragrance. I find the original Silky Woods to be a beast mode too. This is even more of a beast in my opinion. It lasts all day on my skin without a doubt, and is definitely going to turn some heads when you wear it. Next up is another spectacular show-stopping fragrance, and it is from Tiziana Terenzi, and this one is Abbrivio. This one has been on my wish list for the longest time, and it was kindly sent over to me from So Avant-Garde. You can get 20% off at So Avant-Garde using my code. But let's talk about the scent, because this is a little bit of a different profile from some of the other fragrances that I've just discussed. Actually, can we just talk about the bottle first? Because I think the Sea Stars collection is phenomenal. I love the packaging. It comes in the most extravagant, over-the-top packaging with a light in it. It is an expensive fragrance, so I love that they put more effort into the presentation. But we're here to talk about the scent. So this is a bit more of a kind of fresh, fruity fragrance, but it has incredible longevity and is a beast mode on my skin. The thing that really drew me into Abbrivio is the fact that it has a strawberry note. I love seeing a strawberry note in fragrances. I don't know what it is, maybe the inner child in me, but I knew I had to sample it as soon as I saw that. And I sampled this one maybe 6 months ago, I think it was, and fell in love. It's my favorite from the entire Sea Stars collection. So this is really juicy. I get blackcurrant and strawberry in the opening, a little bit of citrus, and then lots of tonka bean straight away. There's also a brown sugar note in here, which adds to that sweetness of the strawberry and the blackcurrants. Now it does have a seaweed note, which isn't super prominent, but there is a slightly marine aquatic feel to this, but only very slightly. The sweetness of the other notes kind of overpower that marine take, but you still get a freshness in here, which is something I love. The juxtaposition between those notes is just incredibly done in my opinion. And then the base is what makes this last all day. It's got oak moss, cedar, sandalwood, musk, and patchouli from memory. So those notes really help ground this fragrance. And it does get a little bit more woody and earthy in the dry down, but you're still left with sweetness from the brown sugar, from the tonka bean, from the strawberry, and from the blackcurrant. Just a phenomenal fragrance in my opinion. I really, really love this one. And if you're looking for something just a little bit different, I would highly recommend getting a sample of this one. It lasts all day on my skin without a doubt, but still smells sweet and fresh at the same time. It's not too heady and it's not too overpowering. And it definitely has an incredible sillage too. So if you want something that's long lasting, but it's more of a fruity, fresh fragrance, it's a little bit woody in the dry down, this is the one to sample for sure. So those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to discuss in today's video. Let me know if any of them stood out to you. But what I want to know, and it's the same thing that I always want to know, are what are your favorite fragrances? Specifically, I want to know your favorite long-lasting fragrances, your beast mode fragrances. Please do let me know down in the comments, and hopefully I can find some new recommendations. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much, and goodbye.